Do you think you work in heaven? Or do you think it's like you die and go to Palm Desert or something like that? Lay around. No, I think we're pretty sure there's work in heaven. And so part of the work is collaboration. Part of the work is collaboration. I was wondering, what countries have the longest work hours? So the average American workday is 38 hours, 38.7, something like that, before COVID. Now it's I don't think anyone even works. After COVID, I don't know what it is. But before COVID, it was 38.7. There's other countries that have more than that, their workday is longer than that, and countries that have less. What I wondered is, who works the least? What country does the least work? Who do you think? Everyone's the poor French. Look, they ain't working. We know they're not working. What are they doing? They're smoking and drinking wine. They're not working. No, it's actually Denmark, which actually makes sense. Denmark. What is Denmark doing? Really, honestly. Anyone here from Denmark? See, it's just too much work to come here. So Denmark works the least of all the countries. And they have one of the highest incomes. They figured out passive income. See, they did it. As a country, they can just kind of lay back, and all the other countries end up having to pay. I don't know how it works, but they have the most money, and they work the least. That's interesting. So people that work really, really hard actually don't have as much as Denmark. So now I'm back so what is work? What is it? What is it? So, because I believe in the scriptures, I thought, let's go back there and look at the word work. It's a good place to start. We can look in a lot of different places, but let's look at the scriptures. And so the first time we see the word work is Genesis chapter 2. Can you put that up there? Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. And here it is. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. To work it and keep it. And those words, work and keep, go together. To work and keep it. The garden. And so when you keep going further, go ahead, next slide, please. Whoops, there we go. The first mention of the work in the Bible, the Hebrew word God uses for it is abad, the Hebrew word there, which shares the same root word as worship. Worship. So for all you etymology nerds out there, here we go. As seen in Deuteronomy 30:15. Deuteronomy 30 is where the Israelites are coming into the land after the Passover and all that. They're coming into the land, and they get the same command about the new land, is to work it and keep it. And as long as they work it and keep it, it'll prosper. But if they don't work it and keep it, and they start making alliances and believing other gods and all that, it says that at night they'll wish they were asleep, and in the morning they wish it's just going to be a disaster. It says even the young women will devour their own young if you don't worship and keep it, which is the Hebrew idea, work. Keep going, one more. Yeah, got that one. Thank you. Adam's here, so here it is. Ready? Here it is, right at the beginning. Adam's work was actually his worship. They're not separate. They don't separate. His work was his worship, a way for him to serve God. The keep part is serve. To worship and to serve. To work and to keep. To worship and to serve God in his holy tabernacle, which is the earth. So that's his commission to humanity. In this tabernacle of the earth, you are to worship and serve in order for this all to be as it should be. Worship and serve. And our words for that are work and keep. Work. So, when you get up on Monday, what we should be doing is going to worship and serve at Eastman, at wherever you're going. The police department, schools, your home. Wherever you go, it's not and do this because we'll see the interesting word rest attached to this, not separated from it, attached as part of it. So the worship and serve and rest are all in the same idea. It's not like work, rest. That's where we miss the point of this whole thing. It's work, and never forget the shalom of God the whole time. How do we remember the shalom of God? By taking one day and concentrating on, don't forget this feeling right here. What is this feeling? It's just peace, it's calm, it's rest. Take that feeling that you've been practicing all day back to work on Monday, so that you always work from rest. So that I don't have to escape this to get to rest. No, I'm training here on how to be at rest so that I can be at rest in the storm. You see Jesus doing that? What's he doing during the hurricane? He's apparently taking a sabbatical break. He's sleeping. He's at rest in the trauma. Wow. So if we could teach people how to come to a place of rest in their life, Ray said it, let it go. Donna, you're free from death. You're free from bondage. Be at rest. Be at peace. Practice it. Be at peace. Take time. Let it go. Remember what Christ has done. Commune with him. Be in communion with him. So you can do that. Now, can we do that in trauma? Yes, we can. Could we do it when we're being persecuted? Yes, we can. So that the rest never ends, even unto death. Even when those disciples that were scared of everything, when they thought work was fishing, and they learned that no, it's way more than that. It's fishers of men, which is worship, which is serve. Take that into the world. Those frightened, denying, runaway guys, at the end, when they say, we're going to crucify you, in complete shalom, they say, do it. Do it. The church fathers, like Irenaeus, when they were sentencing him to be burned alive, he said to his disciples, don't you dare interfere with my burning. Don't you dare try and stop this honor that's being bestowed upon me. And he went to the flames at rest. What was he doing there? Working. Wow. Is that what we're doing? This passage, when you read this to you, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7. A good name is better than precious ointment, and the day of death is better, more precious than the day of birth. Do you believe that? We love birth. Wow. Death? It's better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For this is the end of all mankind. This is what's going to happen to all of us. We're all going to end up in the place of death. It's better than even birth. Is it? Sorrow is better than laughter. For by sadness of face, the heart is made glad. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. It's like, which one's dealing with the way things truly are? The house of mourning or the house of mirth? Like, what's the goal here? It's better for a man to hear the rebuke of the wise than to hear the song of fools. Better is the end of a thing than its beginning. Wow. Why is this important when we think about work? Because if we know what the end is going to be, we all know it's coming. We all know it. And when we take communion, these are the things, these are the symbols. This is remembering Christ saying, don't be afraid of the end. It's not the end. Don't be afraid of it. Hebrews chapter 2, Jesus took the power of death from the one who holds the power of death, Satan, and freed us from the bondage of the fear of death. So then because if you don't understand that, then your work will be wrong. Then if this is it, if this is the best thing we've got and we got to protect it with everything we have, then labor, toil, sweat, stay up at night, have panic attacks, get an ulcer, trying to accumulate as much as you can here right now. And hold on. You better hold on to it, and you better protect it, and forget the others. We can't worry about the others. We don't have time for that. This is it. You have one life, my friend, and you better live it, and you better accumulate, and you better store up, and you better have a plan. And take a break every once in a while. Happy Labor Day. You freaked out, stressed out, crazy people that only know conflict. Happy Labor Weekend. Get 5 minutes of rest, and then back into the lie we go. And at the very beginning, this is Moses telling the Israelites as they're leaving the system of bondage and work and toil, and you get your value from the marketplace. And if the marketplace doesn't say you have any value, you have no value. And unless you make this much or this much, if you only do that, that's not important. You have no value. That's the system they're coming out of. And it's held together by fear and power and control of a leader and his military. And that's the system they've been in for 400 years, and it's killing them. And they just keep figuring out how to cope with it. Well, we'll just pass this lie-based, terrible, horrible, conflict-ridden thing down to our next generation. Good luck. And no one cries out and says, we hate this, change this. God, can you fix this thing? Is if we just had a different military, if we just had a different leader, if our people were just in charge, we could fix this thing, and we just do the exact same thing the people before us did. Like all we have to do is look at the history of our own world and watch it. Here we go again. And every country's the greatest country. And every country's the divine empire of God. All of them say these things, and yet they all fall. And they all crumble because they're in the lie. And work is work, and it's toil, and it's strain, and it breaks our bodies down, and it causes conflict and division and warfare. That's what we're working at. And it's not right. And Moses is telling the Israelites, he's telling them the story, like, let me tell you where this idea came from, that this is a good idea. This military empire building thing. This is the lie that Egypt represents. Let me tell you when it started. And it's with Eve believing, like, I got to work for this thing. That's what it's not like I'm going to receive this thing and it's worship and keep and serve. It's like, oh no, there's that and I don't have it and God's not going to give it to me. And I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps and I'm going to go get it. And then the thing starts to fall apart. And boy, does it turn into nothing but labor. Happy Labor Day, Adam and Eve. It wasn't Happy Labor Day. It was worship and serve day all the time. And in that worship and serve kind of work, they were always at rest, working from rest, not trying to find 5 minutes of rest from the work that we're in. Wrong. And Moses says there's another way. And he tells them the story of the garden and this definition of work. And like, that's what we're looking for, that one. And when we go into this new land, we're not doing this crazy run around, kill ourselves thing. We're not going to do it. In fact, every 7 years, we're just going to cancel all debt so we don't even get into it. And everyone that's in a position of bondage slavery is going to be released. And we're just going to keep refreshing this thing so we don't forget how fast we'll get into empire building and power and control and conflict and war. And they can see the two. And when they go into the land in Deuteronomy, and there's Mount Gerizim and Mount Nebo, and half the people are on one mountain and half are the other, they're shouting the positions of each worldview. Genesis 3, they shout it out. And what happens when we think we're not enough and we got to have more and it's all on me and I got to go get it? What happens? And they shout out, you're going to be cursed. And these people shout out, what happens if we receive from God and if we worship and serve one another and our enemies and all the foreigners are welcome in the temple of the living God? What happens? You will be blessed. Labor, work. Toil, serve. Accumulate, conquer, fight, die. Release, set free, speak truth, prosper. That's what they're shouting back and forth. What are we doing? What are we doing? When you get up on Monday morning, wherever you're going, the goal is to go to worship and serve. To seek first the kingdom. And all the other stuff will come. All of it will come. That we're so worried about all the time that we got to try and make happen. It'll come. It's like, don't work. It's like, work the right way. Work in a way that brings reconciliation and peace. If we jump into the book of John, and in John chapter 4, Jesus is talking to this Samaritan woman, and he's telling her, I didn't come to be served by you. You don't understand the work I do. My work isn't to get you to serve me. My work is me to serve you. That's my act of worship to the Father, is me serve you. She's stunned by, how is it that you, a Jew, and a man, talk to me, a Samaritan, and she's back in the conflict and the world powers, and we don't like them, and they're against us, and if they succeed, we lose. She's in that world, and Jesus is not in that world. He says, let me serve you. If you let me serve you, from you will flow rivers of living water. Do you get that? And she does. She drinks of him. And what does she do? She turns around and she runs up. Look at the work she does. She turns around and she runs up to the community that objectified her. And she leads them into redemption. Her work becomes an act of worship and service to the very people that put her in the position she was in. Wow. Are you going Monday to do that? Let's see, who do I hate? Who am I afraid of? I'm going to serve them today. That's what Jesus does. And I'll tell you what, you know what that does to humans? It fills them with joy. It fills them with joy to live like that, because that's how you were made to live, not like what we're doing. John chapter 5, Jesus goes into the pool of Bethesda and he heals this guy on the Sabbath, which according to Jewish law, you're not allowed to work on that day. No working on the Sabbath. Yeah, but no, I wasn't working like your definition of work. I'm working like my definition of work, which is to worship the Father and serve this guy. Doesn't matter what day it is. Don't you understand? The day was made for you, not you for the day. The day doesn't own you. That's not what the law is for. So the Sabbath day is to remind you how you should be all the time, at rest, calm down, let God be God, relax, stop being so stressed out. And these Pharisees are freaked out. Wasn't that guy crippled? Wasn't he crippled an hour ago? Yeah. And now he's well? Yeah. What day is it? He can't do that. Like, we don't care about this guy. We do not care about this guy. We care about how the work was done on what day. Wow, these are the experts in the Bible. These guys, we're the experts in the Bible. We know you're not allowed to heal on this day. We know it. And they're throwing Bible verses at the Word of God himself. Did you ever do that? Throw Bible verses at the living Word. And Jesus is like, what is he? Put that up there. This is why they were persecuting Jesus. This is why they were persecuting him, because he was worshiping on the wrong day. Because he was doing these things, worship on the Sabbath. Keep going. But Jesus answered them. Look what Jesus says. Okay, let me just help you with working. Like, you guys seem to have lost track of what this word means. My Father is working like right now and all the time. And I am too. When are you not at work? I'm always at work. When you at rest, I'm always at rest. You mean you don't have to take a break from work to rest? No. I've learned to rest in every situation. That's part of the work I do. And so then I'm teaching other people how to be at rest while at work. Do you want to help your coworkers? Teach them that. Do you want to be a gift to the people you work with? Walk them into wholeness and resiliency. How? By you being whole and resilient. How? By you being at rest at all times and at work at all times. The company's going down the drain. It's okay. We'll find another job. The country's going down the drain. Countries do go down the drain. All of them have, except Denmark. They just kind of wait it out. They're smart. They're not stressed out. They're at rest. They've been at rest for a long, long time. Like, you don't understand. If we go down, it all goes down. And that is a lie. Oh, are you God? I'm sorry. I thought I was just talking to a guy. But you're God. Like, oh, your country's God. Oh. Like, none of it's true. That's why you're so freaked out. Relax, relax, relax. God's always at work. Jesus is always working. He's always at worship. So, chapter 6, feeding the 5,000. He feeds the 5,000. People love that. A leader that's going to feed us, we'll vote for him. And they want to make him king. That's really interesting. They're following him. They want him to run for president, kind of. And he's like, no. Because the only reason you want me to be your leader is so I'll protect you and feed you. And that is the wrong reason to pick a leader. And he says, no, I'm not doing that. We're not doing this. Twice they try and make him king. And then they're like, we'll kill him instead. That's people. That's the public right there. You want to be king for us and feed us and protect us? No, kill him. All right. Kill him on Facebook. Kill them on the news, just kill them. If they're not here to make my life better, kill them. I know we don't do this. I understand we don't do this, but they had a hard time with that. And then Jesus says, do not work for food that perishes, but for food that endures. Work, there's the work word. Why are you working for this stuff? For the food that endures to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. What are you working for? Don't work for this stuff. Work for, worship for, serve for the things that the Son of Man will give you. Follow me, worship and serve, and I will make you to become. I'll give you this. Submit yourselves to God, and he will lift you up. There's the principle. For God the Father has authorized him to put his own seal on him. Keep going. And then they asked him, here they go, here we go. Here's the humans. All right. Let's nail him down on this question. What are we to do? They can't get out of it. What do we do? What do we do so that we may habitually be doing the works of God? Should we have a quiet time? Should we have more than one quiet time? Should we witness to 1 people, 20 people? Should we pray for 1 hour, 5 hours? Should we go to church Wednesday? So, what do we do to be doing the works, plural, of God so we can do them? Why? So he'll feed us and protect us and make us great. What do we do? And look what Jesus says. This is the one work. Not a bunch of one. This is the one work of God. Here it is. Ready? Want to know what to do every day? Believe means adhere to, trust in, rely on, and have faith in the one who God has sent. There it is. That's it. Jesus is so simple, it's like frustrating. What are the works of God that I can do? The work is to believe the one that he sent. But believe, I mean like throw yourself with everything you got into the relationship with Christ. That's it. What happens there? You learn in that relationship to worship and serve other people. What other people? Your enemies. And everyone's like, You know when Jesus answers things, they're always like, oh, shoot. You're back to that loving the enemy thing. Like, we're not like, we want you to feed us and protect us. You don't want to do that. Instead, you want us to love our enemies to what degree? Until you die for them. That's what degree. And then he goes, and that's the real bread. You want the bread? You're working for the bread? I am the bread. That's what he says. I am the bread. And he says, he gets worked up. And he says, and I am the bread of life. I am the bread of life. I'm it. And you have to eat my flesh and drink my blood in order to participate in it. And even some of his own guys like, we're out. We're like, this is way more than we thought. Like, this is serious. We thought this was just to our advantage, this whole thing. But now you're getting crazy. You mean you're talking about other-focused, self-emptying, unconditional love for our enemies? You're talking about that is it? That's what happens when you throw yourself into a relationship with Jesus, which is the one work that God asks of us? That's what it's going to look like? Yes. Yeah, I'm out. What if that was going to work on Monday involve that? So what does that look like practically? I'm going to be a police officer, a school teacher, an accountant, whatever, a stay-at-home person, whatever it is. I'm going to get up on Monday and I'm going to do the one work, the one act of worship and service that God has invited me into, which is to be the fullness of Christ to everyone I interact with in whatever the vocation I happen to be at. That means I'm going to go in there with other-focused, self-emptying, unconditional love for the people there that I don't even really like. And I'm going to serve them. And let me tell you what happens to a team when one person is like that. The whole team gets well. They're like, what is this? Aren't you going to sit around and complain with us about something, anything? There's so much to complain about that we could get into. And we'll give you suggestions all day long on what to be afraid of and to think about and hate. That's our favorite topic. You're not going to participate? You're going to act like it's okay that you're at peace and have joy in all of this? You're going to do that? Yeah, and I'm going to give it to you too. All right. So I'll give you one example and we're done here. So I learned this a long time ago. You only can do this by living it, right? So where's it? Put up that slide of the, so this is a summer job I had. So when I was in university, so this is when I was 19, I'm 62 right now. So when I was 19, I went on a campus crusade project. You know, you go work for the summer somewhere, some beach town or some amusement park or something. So we were in this beach town and my team, my roommates were two Hispanic guys from the University of New Mexico, Hector and Steve Urini. I was texting Steve last night. I was going to say, I'm going to tell a story about the store he worked in. He's like, don't say my name. His name is Steve Urini. And he lives in Albuquerque. Oh my gosh. Anyway, he used to be my friend. So when you come into the area where you're going to work, so Campus Crusade teams have been coming into this community for a lot of summers. And so all the companies, all the businesses know that Campus Crusade students are coming in, and they like to hire Campus Crusade students because for the most part, they're good workers and they don't steal stuff and all that kind of stuff. And the goal is for the Campus Crusade workers is go work at this place and then invite the owner of whatever company you work for to a banquet at the end of the summer, and that's where we'll do a big gospel presentation. So the goal is get the owner of whatever you work for to the banquet. Get him to the banquet, and I don't know what will happen at the banquet, but it's going to be amazing. And so, but the thing is, every company knew we were there. And so everyone was like, hey, let me tell you who to work for. I work for that company. And so that most of the kids would go to companies like that already knew Jesus. They were great employers. Yeah, of course I want to work with my own kind, don't you? You know, it's like when someone says, hey, call this plumber, they're a Christian. I'm like, why does that matter with a plumber? Like, wait a second, I got to ask you before you touch that pipe. I need to know something right now. Are you a believer? Because if you're not saved, you ain't touching that. Why are we talking like this? My thing is like, are you a good plumber? I don't care. You know, it's like, is the pilot a believer? I don't care. Can he fly a plane? Like, what does he know about flying first? We'll talk to him. Anyway, but they said, whatever you do, don't go to this place because this guy, he ain't coming to the banquet. And he's a terrible employer. So all Campus Crusade people avoid this lost store. Hang with the Christians. Why are we here for the summer? We just sang it. Go for the 99. Where's Jesus? He went to that place. So me and Steve and Hector, we decided, let's just go see this. Let's at least go apply there. So we go and apply. And we meet the owner, and he is horrible. Oh my gosh, he doesn't even pretend not to be a racist. And he looked at Hector and Steve, and he just laid right into him about the immigrant community and the weight on the country. This is in 1979. Like dragging down the country, and we can't afford you people. Like there were students at the University of New Mexico. We were born in the United States. It doesn't matter. Like this guy. Right away, we haven't even applied yet. And so, we're looking at each other like, do we feel like God's inviting us into this nightmare? Doesn't God only invite you into stuff that's happy and great and awesome and everyone was already believers? Isn't that what he normally does? And so, anyway, we apply. We get hired because no one else is going to work there. So we get hired, and it's horrible. It is the worst place I've ever worked in my life to this day. Hector's still in therapy over this event. Oh my gosh. And so we would go work through the day, work these 8 and 10-hour shifts, and we'd have to come home, and it was like you had to wash yourself off. It was so horrible. It was beyond toxic. What's worse than toxic? You're already dead. As soon as you walk in, you're just dead. And it's that bad. The guy was so mean. Show the, you know what I mean, guys? Yes, they know what I mean. This is their website. I found they actually have a website. Look at the comments. They're 5-star testimonials. I'm sure these aren't made up. 4 months ago, very nice people. They could come down on their prices a little bit. Look at the person that sent that in. Their name is Area A. Oh, I'm sure this is legitimate. So person number 2, from a year ago, they are open late, have a variety of items, including alcohol to food, household items, tobacco. Staff is really nice. Considering its location to the beach, their prices are reasonable. Emerald G sent that in. And then her brother, sister, Chastity G sends in, it's the only place I can find my dragon fruit mad dog, yay. Well, Donna was like, what kind of fruit is dragon fruit? And I'm like, it ain't a fruit. That's not a fruit. If you know what dragon fruit mad dog is, talk to me after the service because you shouldn't know what that is. And if you said yay after, I'll meet you in the parking lot. I don't want to even talk to you in here. This is the kind of crowd that comes into this place every day. And it is nasty. So, next slide. Da, 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 da. Not that one. One more, the verses. Yeah, okay, here's our challenge though. Here's our challenge. Like every day we were like, why are we working with this toxic lunatic person in this awful place that sells dragon fruit, mad dog, yay. Well, why are we working here? Here's our challenge. Paul says it, Colossians. Whatever you do, whatever your task may be, work from the soul. That is, put in your very best effort as something done for the Lord, worship, and not for racist owners. Next. Knowing with all certainty that it is from the Lord, not from men, that you will receive the inheritance, which is your greatest reward. It is the Lord Christ whom you actually serve. We couldn't quit Jesus. We could quit the guy, but not Christ. If Christ said walk away, we would have walked away, but he didn't. It's a funny thing about Jesus. We're like, this is a mean person that hates us. What would you do? I know, die for him. Next, Ephesians, servants, employees, be obedient to those who are your physical masters, employers, having respect for them, an eager concern to please them. Who? This guy? Peter said, in all cases, honor all men. They were under Nero, who was burning Christians in his house as torches. Honor all men. in singleness of motive and with all your heart as service worship to Christ himself, not in the way of eye service as if they were watching you and only to please men, but as servants, worshipers of Christ, doing the will of God heartily and with your soul, rendering service readily with good will as to the Lord, not to men. Every day we read those verses. Back to worship, back to service, back to worship, back to service every day. And then we were like, God, what do we do? How do we impact this guy? He's like beyond anything we can do. And we had an idea. We found out that he had these warehouses where he got merchandise from, his own stuff, and we got the keys from his wife, and we went there, and this is what they look like. Show that picture. This is one of his warehouses. They were just piles of, underneath boxes back there, we found 2 antique cars. They were just a nightmare. And so what we would do is get off work at the store, and then we would go eat dinner, and then we would go into these warehouses, and through the night we would organize them and catalog all this stuff. Never told him. Just went and did it every night. And it was exhausting. It was. And then up early the next morning to go worship and serve, worship and serve. And we would be in that warehouse laughing our heads off, probably just in pure hysteria. I don't know. Why are we doing this? I don't know. Look, I found a car. Now you're hallucinating. No, it's a car. And we waxed the cars. And one night, he went in there for whatever reason. And he goes in and he just stands in there and he just looks at this. Never said a word to us. The night of the banquet, he comes with his wife. And when they have time for testimonials, he stands up and he goes, I met Jesus in my warehouse the other night. He said, and Jesus, I realized, had been serving me the whole time. Even when I was his enemy, he served me. And he showed me things that I didn't even know I had or have anymore. And he said, because of that, I'm here at this banquet, because I want to follow Jesus. And listen, Ecclesiastes, better is the end than the beginning. Yes. Father, thank you that you made us people to work, to worship and to serve. To worship and to serve. And in this way, we prosper because we're receiving it from you and we're doing it for you. Lord, would you be with us Monday and Tuesday, and where we learn to work from rest. We learn to work from rest, and that we bring that rest to where we are in a world that's so at unrest, in conflict. Lord, would you let us be the lights into the dark world, shine like stars in the night. We thank you for this. In Jesus' name. I'm going to ask the prayer team to come forward. And just one thing, if you had our prayer team sense that people were struggling, we've already had people in the first service struggling with their teeth or jaw pain, and also need wisdom about something in particular. If that's something going on in your life, please come forward. Otherwise, happy? No! Oh, you didn't learn a thing.